like the way I look at it is like, yeah, I can afford it, but by me affording it, am I taking something away from my kids, right? Or if I do something now, like in the very near future, if there's an opportunity Keisha want to take, am I taking away her opportunities? Am I restricting her freedom?
Say, how's the fam?
How's the fam?
Hey y'all, it's Keisha.
And this is Tyler.
And this is How's the Fam?
So How's the Fam is a podcast about family, friends, and growth where we help you appreciate the relationships you love the most, okay? Today's episode is about those major decisions that you make, not only as an individual, but as a team, as a unit, while you're in your relationships, okay? So if that sounds good to you, just sit back and relax and enjoy this episode of How's the Fam. But before we get into it, we have a segment called Just Checking In. Because you got to check in with the family, man. And so, Kiki.
Yep.
What's your Just Checking In, man? What you got to say?
Ooh, gosh, it's November, y'all.
We made it, man.
It is
Real
November.
talk, this has been a year, a week, a month. This has been a decade. All wrapped in one.
You basically. So things are getting ready to wrap up. Mm-hmm. You got to get ready for the holiday season. We trying to figure out when we're going. Are we going Thanksgiving? Are we going back home in December?
Haven't quite figured it out yet. Yeah.
I mean, we made a decision, and then I started backtracking a little bit because I was just like, oh, that's so far away.
I agree.
But it's not really. But, I mean, we haven't seen... We seen our immediate family, but like we haven't seen our family in all year, at least probably since like last Thanksgiving.
No, it's the whole family.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
Oh man,
It's been a long time. Like
and some people haven't even met Naomi. And
when you brought that up, I actually forgot about that.
Yeah,
you was like, "Yo, these people haven't met Naomi yet." I was like, "Shit, no, you're right. They haven't."
No, right?
Yeah.
And
wow.
She's full blown. She's crawling. She's pulling up on stuff. We call her our personal vacuum cleaner because that girl can find some stuff on the floor, and no matter how much you sweep, no matter how much you vacuum, she finds something.
Yeah, man.
And it's getting to the point where I'm thinking the other girls, they're like leaving little stuff behind.
I think they're leaving breadcrumbs.
Yeah,
I do think that
Naomi's gonna get it. If mommy see me hand it to her, then I'm in trouble. But if I drop it
and she happens to find it, then she good to go. Yeah, I agree. Hey. I think they're playing us a little bit, just a little bit.
But yeah, it's just getting ready for the holidays and working, and then just other things we do on the side and just trying to get things done. It's like, oh my goodness, it's a lot. So just overall, just trying to stay on top of tasks and stuff. I mean, flashback to our last episode on planning, but as we start planning it and just, hey, we need to get this done by the end of the year, 2 months. So just, checking off the list on what we want to get done this year, and then also start planning for the new year.
It's only 2 months left in the year. It's insane to me that it's only 2 months left in the year.
Kind of flew by.
I agree. I don't know how the holiday season is going to look for us in terms of like when we're traveling, where we're going, how we're going to go, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you made a lot of good points. Let me just say that. You made a lot of good points. My just checking in, everything you said, I was just like, man, so why are you saying this now?
Like, we do gotta talk about that.
Bro. But mine is like the manipulation from our kids, yo. The manipulation game is getting real. For those who don't have kids, take your time. You hear me? Take your time. For those who've already gotten past like this little portion of the development phase, man, I can't wait to get like you. Because what's happening is my second born is just using her tears to like drive our attention. And our oldest is like doing little stuff to get our attention too. And so essentially what's happening is they're fighting for our attention. And it's starting to piss me off, right? It got to the point where like you do little stuff for your kids so that they can enjoy it. Like things that maybe your parents weren't able to do for you, or something like, they learned something in school. You're like, oh, let me show you the other side of this, right? But then, like, their behavior, and you made a good observation because you were like, in public, they don't do this. But when they with us, they'll do stuff like that. And that's like, you're right. in public, they don't do that. They literally only giving us this type of treatment because we're allowing them to. And it's like, I don't know, it's getting on me. It got so bad to the point I actually yelled at Keisha. Like just yesterday, I think. It was just yesterday, wasn't it?
The day before.
Was it the day before? It was like Melanie was crying and something, and he was like, "Did you give her medicine?" I was like, "Yeah, I gave her medicine, man."
It's like, just check in, man.
He was like, "Hey, man, don't you ever?"
I was like, obviously he's in a mood. Bro. I'm gonna leave him alone.
And I was like, everybody upstairs, everybody get in the bed. I'm shutting it down. And he was like, but Dad's like, no, I don't want to hear none of it. And it was just, it was bad, man. It was bad. And so I was like, all right, obviously, like, we read a book, it's called Intentional Parenting. And I was like, obviously, I've been operating without a strategy. So I was like, Keisha came up with a strategy. We're going to implement it. Hopefully, it works out, because if it don't, whew. People keep talking mental health. I was just like, hey, man, I don't know about the mental health thing, but I am sick of that crying. If y'all see this right here in the background, that's our daughter. That's our third co-host. Like, she's always around. Oh, yeah, I want to see it. Hey, but I'm going to end up getting her at some point. But you ready to get into the topic?
Sure.
And so that's been just checking in, y'all. And it's literally just us checking in with the family. Also, this episode is brought to you by us. By me and her, okay? But if you would like to advertise on How's the Fam, please feel free to reach out. You can hit me on Instagram. You can reach me at Tyler. No, not at Tyler. It's Tyler@famsallgood.com, okay? Tyler@famsallgood.com. Serious business inquiries only. And that's enough for that. So today's main topic is major decisions being made. So we decision makers over here, okay? And just like you in your life, there are decisions that have to be made. Whether it's the house, the kids, where you're gonna live, where you're gonna work, what car you're gonna drive, right? Like, are you gonna pull up from the garage? Or you're gonna have to open up, right? You're gonna have to open up the door and walk out when it's hot or walk out when it's cold. All of these are decisions that have to be made, right? And the question is, what decisions are being made in your life? And how are you making those decisions, right? So, Kiki, when you was operating in your single life, how did you make decisions?
Oh, no worries, man. It was awesome. I didn't know how good I had it making my own decisions in life. And pretty much the only person that I had to answer to was myself. And believe it or not, I think I told myself no a lot of times.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You sold yourself short a lot more than you did. I
needed to, right?
He was like, yeah, I can't afford this. I was like, yeah, you can.
Yeah,
He's like, maybe I can, but maybe I shouldn't. I was like, why you say you shouldn't?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But I think that's just how maybe I was raised, and I kind of watched my mom how to like kind of do things.
That speaks to your nature. Like, your nature is not to overspend. Your nature is like, you know, save it for the rainy day type of thing.
Yeah, just in case. Because when I say something always comes up, you be like, man, I'm doing good. Got some extra money in the bank. And then it's like, oh.
It's the car.
The light came on. What's that light?
The pipes.
You ain't got no ridges on your tires. Time to get new tires. Okay. Oh. You need to go to the dentist, okay? Normal cleaning. Oh, we need to do some work. Oh, no, now I got to pay for the doctor. It's always
something with you.
Something. What, me? Man. You don't have stuff that comes up.
Well, I do need a new car. So if anybody wants to give me a new car, no, that's right. I'm
you lucky. Do your heat work?
Huh?
Your heat work?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
my heat don't work either. So I don't know what the issue is with the car.
So that's weird.
Yeah, I don't know
because I remember like back in the day, my granddad had a truck. The AC did not work, which was fine back then because it wasn't as hot as it is today.
Yeah.
But that heat, oh my gosh,
my heat was working.
Was fire. That was some warm
heat to get you through, boy. It's like, hey, man, my AC don't work, but we chilling. Like, we good now.
Let them windows down and drive fast. That's all you had to do. But I didn't know the heat was out.
Yeah, my heat. I don't know. It was working, and like recently, it just stopped working. So I was like, look, I'm not gonna fix this car because the thing was, it's like, yo, for the low price, hey baby, for the low price of $4K, I could like just get my car fixed and I'd be ripping and running, right? But the thing was, Keisha was like, well, babe, like you already at like 180,000 miles, like you might need to consider getting something different because you just never know. at 180. I was like, man, that Honda good. I was like, I sounded like a granddad when I said, man, that Honda good. About like 250, 300 now. Like, you just take care of that Honda, it's going to, you know. But she was like, yeah, but the part people forget to mention is like, even though it can get to 200, 300 and stuff, there's a lot of times when you end up on the side of the road on the way to that 300, 400, right? And so she was like, why would you hold on to this car and knowing our kids are with you and not knowing if you can get from point A to point B? And it's just like, well, you're right. It's like, I can spend $4K into this car or I can put $4K down on another car and then just rock out like that. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. But the thing is, like, that's my decision-making process. The question is, it's not necessarily can I afford it? It's not necessarily like any of that, right? Because like in my mind, it's like, yo, it's like God will always provide, God will always make a way. And even you know, God has given me these hands and these influences in my life. Like, I can make it happen. Question is, do I want to? And who is affected by my decisions, right? And so, like, the way I look at it is like, yeah, I can afford it, but by me affording it, am I taking something away from my kids, right? Or if I do something now, like in the very near future, if there's an opportunity Keisha want to take, am I taking away her opportunities? Am I restricting her freedom, right? It's like, because you can do all things, but the thing is, the reality of the situation is you do have to deal with the ramifications of what you do, right? And so I was like, all right, am I going to buy a new car? And when you was like, you don't want to be left, you don't want to be put in a situation where the kids you can't get from point A to point B. I was like, you right. So I was like, let me rock out like that. So I'm gonna find something. What? She was not having it, man. This is Naomi. This is our youngest. She's a beautiful baby girl. Okay. And these stains right here, this is a sleep shirt. Okay. This is just a sleep shirt.
Just putting all her business out there.
What? It is. It's just a sleep shirt. These are sweet potatoes.
Okay.
All right.
But back to single life. Yeah. You, luckily, when you had to make a huge decision, it was like, okay, what is coming up in your life? What benefits or negative things that it might impact? And you don't realize how good it is to just worry about yourself sometimes. I think back then, I had to worry about having enough gas in the car. Tyler used to get pissed off when I used to run a car to zero.
Man, I don't understand why you do this.
It's not really zero.
Oh, it made me so mad. I was like, yo, Keisha, it's like, if you're going to stop by the gas station and put gas in the car anyway, why don't you just go ahead and fill it up? He was like, oh, I only need 10. I was like, I get it, but once that 10 is done, you're going to have to put another 10 in, and today's 10 might not be tomorrow's 10. So you might as well just go ahead and put, you know, because at the time, gas prices were like all over the place. So,
yeah, that's why. I had to really monitor where my money was going, and I don't know. I really don't know why I did that. I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know why you did that. I don't know why people. Well, I get why people do it. Like, it's like, hey, I only got so much money. All I need to do is to make it to my next check. But the thing was, we weren't at the position where we needed to make it to the next check. So I was like, you might as well. Like, we were already operating on a budget. The budget is this for gas. It was like, you might as well go ahead and go until the budget hits zero for gas. And well, not zero, but once you know you're on your last tank, it's like, all right. So I'm just gonna go to work.
I think you kind of limited like where you was going to.
Well,
like, you know,
at the time I had that truck, that Dakota.
Oh yeah, that.
And that Dakota, it drank. That Dakota's like, where we going? All right, that's half a tank. It's like, bro, it's right down the street. You better talk to me nicer. It's gonna be a 3/4 of a tank. It's like, all right.
But decisions though, as by myself, we're good. It's just you're making huge decisions, probably like while you're in college. Maybe even it starts in high school, because you gotta figure out what you're doing after high school after you get that diploma. So it's like, oh, am I going to college? Am I going to the military? Or what am I gonna do? And you make that step, and then when you get in college, you have to figure out what major you want to do, and you might change it like a million times, but you have to choose like what's best for you at that point in time, or what you think will be best for you. And then after you leave your single life pretty much, and you start adding maybe a significant other, maybe you add a kid at some point. When you start adding other people into your responsibilities or into your life, that's when you're just like, oh, I'm not just thinking for myself anymore. I'm really, okay, how will this affect me? Okay, now how would this affect my husband? How would this affect my kids? Even sometimes, how would this affect my dog? Because if I'm living in an apartment and then I go rent a house or something and they're like, oh, no pets. What I'm gonna do with Cujo? Like, you gotta, it's so many things. By the way. Really?
I like Cujo a lot.
We're gonna name our dog Cujo.
I like drug names for dogs, man. Like, I always say I wanted to name my dog Kilo or something like that, right? So, yeah, I like Cujo. Cujo's dope.
But, yeah, you just add more and more to the equation, and it's like, okay, I'm not just thinking for me, I'm thinking for others. And that can be a challenge sometimes, but I feel like me as a person, even when I was single, I kind of thought of how it would affect other people too. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't like a huge transition for me when I had to add other people into the equation, but pretty much I was always considering everybody. And
you're a giving spirit like that.
That was risky in a way, because it's like maybe that other person wasn't the same giver as I was, as you would say. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't do it for me if they were in that situation. Mm-hmm. But me mentally and just personally, that's what I felt like doing. And I think one example was after I was getting ready to graduate, and I had to pretty much figure out what I was going to do, graduate from college. And I was like, well, Tyler has at least one more semester. So do I leave now? Like, do I leave the state, or do I just go ahead and stay in school? Because I can get my master's in a year. And so let me see about that. And then lo and behold, this guy's like, oh, I got to get out. I'm holding her back.
I did. I broke up with her. I was like, bro, man, so you don't need to make no decisions for me. Like, you done worked your whole life to get to this point. You go. Like, fly. Be free.
I was pissed.
Yeah, he was pretty hot.
I was pissed. I was like, really?
Pretty. You know what? Let me write that down. Communication. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that later, man. Yeah, that is a good one. But communication barrier. I didn't know how to communicate at the time. Like, she told me the issue, and I was just like, look. It's like, if the shoe was on the other foot, like, if it was me, I would be gone. It's like I love you to death, but, like, you know.
That's like that Mendices and Gandhi.
Maybe. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Mendices was like, she was like, would you have held me down? He's like, no.
But that's the difference though. It's like we was actually in the moment, and you was like, no, I wouldn't do that for you. So I'm going to do you a favor and break up.
Yeah. I straight up, I was like, yo, I would not do that. And you was just like, well, I will. It was like, I want you to be there with me. I was like, well, if I can't be with you because you're willing to stay. Yeah. So it was a whole communication.
At least I knew up front. In her case, it was like, hey, would you done the same thing after I did that for you? And he's like, I can't guarantee that. Oh.
Yeah, he should have lied. I don't think we talked about that. I was like, hey, man.
We did.
Even if that's the case, man, if you like your chick, you
he apologized and stuff for it and stuff. But even now, just think about it. I'm just like,
that joke was funny though. He was like, man, I can't guarantee it. I was just like, hey, God, I was just
no, you don't say that after the fact, after she done already did it.
Hey, man, he said what he said.
You had like, I don't know their conversations, but while he was going or getting ready to go to jail, it was like, if he would have been like, hey, I understand if you leave me, because I'm not sure if I'll be able to stay or sit beside you if you went to jail. And then whatever decision she makes after that, that's on her.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case, I don't think. But that's their business. But yeah, not to bring that up again. But I still, that
before you get all in your feelings and stuff. All right, so here's my perspective of it. So as an individual, honestly, I was like, this girl is driving me insane.
Hey, mama.
So as an individual, like I used to just like kind of shoot from the hip. And I mean, that's just the way I operated. Like if I wanted to do something, if I saw an opportunity, I just go. It's like, I don't ask too many questions. I don't do too much research. I just go and do it. And so now, like actually having a family and having people depending on me and people low key looking at me, like they just, I don't know. I feel like some people just be like, hey, I can't wait to see him fail. It's like, but I'm not gonna fail. It's like I'm gonna always win, bro. Like, but all the same, just knowing that there are people, number one, watching me, number two, depending on me. It just gives me more and more drive. So in terms of like the decisions that were major for me, like deciding to leave Mississippi and come to Texas, that was a major decision for me, right? In terms of like who I was gonna select as my job, like because I had multiple offers, especially like straight out of high school. It was like, I'm not high school. Oh, it made it sound like I was the NFL draft pick. But especially straight out of college, like, I had options. So it was like, well, who am I gonna work for, right? Like where am I gonna live? Yeah, you can stack more bread and live in like, you know, a more dangerous place or something like that. But at the same time, it's like people peep you, you know. It's like people they know what's happening, and so you always be like a low key a mark, right? So was I willing to be a mark? And I was like, yeah. Or do you want to spend a little more money and stay in a little higher upscale? Or not even upscale, like a more middle class type of spot, right? And so it's like all these little different factors play into a piece. And this is even before like me and Keisha, like this. No, you had a ring at the time, so you had a ring. But like these are all the decisions where I was like, if it was just me, I would do this. But since it's not just me, I'm gonna do this because like I'm cool with paying for peace, you know. In terms of my kids, like the major decisions we made were: are we gonna have them? How many are we gonna have? What school are they gonna go to? Like,
because honestly, y'all, I said two.
Yeah, Keisha said two.
I said two kids because
Keisha did say two.
I grew up as the only child, and I knew growing up, I was like, when I have kids, I'm gonna make sure they have a playmate. And so I said two. I wanted a girl and a boy, and be done. Tyler over here want a whole football team and subs.
When you have good genetics, okay, so football team. Oh, I said I wanted the basketball team with two subs.
Ah, my bad.
But
yeah,
7. But real talk, I just wanted 5. I just wanted 5. 5 would have been good. But what we have is more than enough. Because when you know better, you do better. You hear me?
It's like it's not the fact that we can't afford more kids or anything. It's the
time requirement. The time requirement to being a good father is high. Yeah. It's very high. And that's the thing. It's like you want to give each kid their due diligence, right? You want to be like, yo, I'm your daddy. This is daddy's time with you. I'm daddy. This is daddy's time with you. But the more kids you have, the more time you divide. And you want to be a quality parent, but the more kids you have, the more difficult that becomes. So it's just a constant issue you got to battle as a parent.
Yeah. When do you stop?
When do you stop? Yeah, man. God said be fruitful and multiply.
Here we go. Here we go.
Can't multiply with just 2. No, yes, I'm messing around. I'm just talking.
You can multiply with 1.
Yeah,
I gave my mom.
I
gave my mom 3 grandkids. She had 1 kid.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. Oh man, but my decision making process has been pretty much consistent because I haven't had that many decisions I had the opportunity of making because I ain't been making money for that long. Like just being real. Yeah, we've been making money that long, and so in terms of like looking at their college, looking at their futures, that's a decision we made. In terms of like what vehicles we drive, that's a decision. The house that we live in, that's a decision. The area that we live in, especially at the time that we decided to buy a home, like this was the best option. Now I guess we probably got our pick of the litter because we was in there early.
You buy a house now. Ooh.
Bro, houses now a little ridiculous. Ooh. But at the time, like it was just free reign. But yeah, I mean, life's been good, man. And one of the reasons life's been so good is because we've made good decisions, and we've that's a more or less. That's a more. I don't know.
More or less.
Regardless, we've made pretty good decisions, and for the most part, we have decent conversations about those decisions before we make them. Now, like I said last episode, I haven't always given Keisha the power to impact like where I'm thinking, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you gotta add? I know you about to blow my mind with something. What you got?
No, while you're just talking, I think one thing that I was talking to myself, I had a dentist appointment today. And so, you know, the dentist always asks you, hey, you been flossing? You been doing this? This? And I'm just like, yeah. It can always be better, you know? I was just like, okay, yes, it can.
Yeah.
And lately, one thing I have been slacking on is self-care. And before the pandemic, I had a little routine going. I was like going to get my hair done every once in a while. I got my nails done every 2 weeks. I had a nail lady. Like, that's how good a connection I made. I had a nail lady and I had a pedicure dude. Mm-hmm. Gosh, missed him. But I did that. What else did I do? I did one more thing.
We used to have date nights. Like we used to have a very consistent date night.
We did. Yeah. And those little moments, even though they were tiny sometimes, because I mean that's an hour to get my nails done, it meant so much. And I let that go on the back burner. And I think us dealing with our kids right now and just the chaos and stuff, we have lost our moments to ourselves, our self-care. And
that's pretty good.
We need to get back to it because I think that was like part of you kind of snapping on everybody that day, because just like, man, I've been dealing with this crying all day, and then
all month.
Why? Yeah, it's just starting to add up.
Since her birthday all the way until that's like 15 days of just crap. Yeah, and I wasn't gonna deal with it anymore. So yeah, I snapped. I did. Snapped like a twig. Lost my daggone mind.
And so I think we need to definitely get back to making the decision to give ourselves our me time. Because yes, it's a selfish decision, but sometimes you have to be a little selfish, even though you are taking care of just yourself. And for me, I know that's hard. I don't know why it's hard. I don't know why when I go out shopping, I be like, oh, I'm going to go shopping for me. You see me walk out the store with bags, and I probably have nothing for me. It's for everybody else. Kids. All for the babies.
Yeah, it ain't for them, for me. I shop for myself. Kids be like, what you spend money on, me? So what you get? Stuff for me?
Yeah. So I'm like, did you think about me? Oh, you wanted something?
What you wanted? Why'd you tell me you wanted?
And I'm a person that can go to Walmart and I'll be like, babe, I brought you a Reese's. You did?
Oh, thank you. I'll get you flowers every once in a while. But even then, it's like, I didn't want flowers. I wanted this. It's like, well, why didn't you say you wanted it, baby?
Oh, man. But yeah.
You're supposed to just know.
Terrible at being a little selfish. I didn't know being selfish a little bit is kind of good sometimes. As weird as that sounds. Because I'm like, man, you're so selfish.
I couldn't get her to act right when I put her like this. She kept grabbing my mic. But
she's getting wild.
It is what it is. But the being selfish thing, I don't know. It's one of those birth order things for me. I'm the youngest. So I was like, I ain't even have to worry about it. That's nothing I had to work on.
But you know what? You think me being the only child, I would be the same way you are.
Why?
Because it was just me. I didn't have to share. I didn't have to worry about others or nothing.
Nah, it's different.
What it's like survival?
There's a different type of entitlement. No, like there's like a political part of being the youngest, and there's like a power dynamic of being the youngest. Like you have the least amount of power, but you have the most influence, and it's like a very interesting thing. It's like, so even though your parents tell you no, like they'll be like no, but you can work on them and you can still get the end result that you want, even though they said no.
Oh, so that's what you do to me.
I don't know. I don't know. I know that's what I used to do when I was a kid.
It's like, you make sure you get me something when you go to the store.
Yeah, I used to do that when I was a kid, but I don't think I've done it in a long time. But you got anything you want to add to these major decisions?
No.
Okay. Now I will say one thing I did want to add about major decisions is I would recommend pray on it before you go into any major decision, right? And also seek wise counsel because you just don't know what you don't know, and so that being the case, always like try to get a second opinion. But at the end of the day, you ain't even got to take the advice of that second opinion. Because I mean, people might have the best interest in heart, but I mean, when you got the juice, you got the juice, man. You gotta let the juice loose. Now, we like to close the show with our words of encouragement. Words of encouragement is just us giving you some words so you can go out into the world and kill it, man. So, Kiki, you got any words of encouragement for the people?
I do. So going along with decision making,
okay,
because I love related to the topic. Yes. Yeah. Part of decision making that people have a problem with is fear. Fear holds us back from a lot. It holds us back from doing something that we probably are more passionate about. And I say that because growing up, it was instilled in me. It's like, hey, you're going to go to school. Hey, you're going to get a degree. Hey, you're going to get this job to support you and your family and until you retire. And boom, that's it. I didn't have, you know what? You might not have the mindset to do a 9-to-5. You might come up with your own business. You might be artistic or I guess helpful to people in another way to where you can create and be a creative and just, just be on your own path and stuff. And now that I realize that I have that option to do that, it's a fear of mine to finally actually step out and go do it because my 9-to-5 is consistent. It's consistent. I know every 2 weeks I'm going to get paid and bills are going to get paid. My kids are fed. I'm fed. This house is getting paid for. Just awesome. With my leap, it's like, I think I'm gonna get a lot of clients at first, but what if they start to die off? What if it just fail? And thinking of all of that, it just, this fear comes in. And so I think when I was talking about being single and only thinking for yourself, when you're by yourself, you don't have all that extra stuff on top of just making a decision for you. When it's just you, I'm not saying it's 100% easier, but it's different when you have a whole family on your shoulders trying to decide what you're gonna do. So you gotta let that fear go. Like Tyler said, pray, seek wise counsel, do what you need to do. But like we always say on here, is like take that leap because you can fail, but you can get back up. And
back up again.
And so you have to try to find out. It's a lot of stuff. This world is different. It's completely different on what makes you successful.
You're not living in your grandma's time.
No, okay? You're not.
Grandma can't sell hats in the store and be successful anymore. Grandma got to go on Instagram. Grandma got to go on the internet. Right?
Do a video.
We used to tell our kids, like, our parents told us, like, hey, it's like, don't get on the internet without letting me know. It's crazy people out there. But nowadays, if you want a successful business, if you want to go to the next level, you got to do what you got to do, bro.
People. Yeah,
you got to network. But no, that's great. There's so many things that went through my mind as you was talking. It's like on the other side of fear is the life worth living. On the only way you can get to the next level is to overcome. It's so much stuff, but I love it. I love it. If you made it this far into the video, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with somebody you might like or somebody who might be inspired by this message. My words of encouragement for the people are, you got to remove your excuses, man. Your excuses are holding you back from excellence. All right, there is a path that you're supposed to be going down, but you got too many daggum excuses to even take the first step. Stop. Take ownership of where you are. It's okay. It's okay. If you're not where you want to be right now, guess what? It's okay. Because as soon as you accept where you are, as soon as you've acknowledged, yeah, this is the position I'm in, and I'm here because like of my own decisions. As soon as you make that account, as soon as you take that accountability, you're able to remove those excuses so that you can step into what you're truly designed to be doing. So you can step into your purpose. Okay. So please remove those excuses and take that step into your purpose. And with all that being said, Kiki,
yes,
how's the fam?
We're getting ready for the holidays. Woo!
You're so cute.
Christmas tree,
You so
Christmas
cute.
lights, frosty. Come on.
She's so cute. Fam's doing good over here, y'all. Y'all be blessed.
Bye, y'all.